Welcome to the Soapbox Sessions. Imagine this, an open and free internet where voices are never silenced, where causes aren't shadow banned, and where no one can be deplatformed. It's real, it's here, and it's happening on Nostr. So what exactly is Nostr? It's a worldwide community of everyday people working to decentralize the internet. On Nostr, you can build websites, communities, social networks, apps, and more. One login works everywhere, you own it, and no one can take it away. No more juggling dozens of platforms, chasing audiences, or managing a giant password list. And the cherry on top? Nostr allows for built-in digital payments that can come from anywhere in the world. On Nostr, value flows as freely as ideas. We're hooked on decentralizing the web, and we think you will be too. So now, let's hear from your hosts, Derek Ross and Heather Larson, who are working to grow Nostr one vibe at a time.
Welcome back to Soapbox Sessions. Today is January 7th, 2026, and we're here with your weekly dose of all things decentralized, social, and AI. Soapbox Sessions is our soapbox about what's new, what's cool, and what's coming. We want to make it easy to understand and keep up with everything happening in the decentralized world of social communication and AI as we work to rebuild the internet.
Here we go. 2026, Derek. Here we go.
We are rebuilding the internet, and 2026 is going to be the year of the builder.
It is.
I think that theme is going to resonate more so than ever this year.
And I don't think it's just us saying that. I'm hearing that around. I'm hearing that places. I think we know this is it. We're AI building this year.
Yes, AI is enabling us to build all of the things and on all of the things too, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Like you can build on and build anything apparently.
Apparently the Soapbox team had a little IoT a traveling show today. at a Best Buy near you.
Well, let's rewind a little bit. So,
okay,
the Soapbox team, some of those members, Alex and MK, were in a Tesla earlier this week.
That's how it started.
And
okay,
they used the Tesla browser to go to Shakespeare.diy, and they were vibe coding in the car.
Yeah,
on their
you
car,
do that.
with their car.
The car every car has a computer now, and computer screen or whatever. I mean,
they were using their
too.
car computer, which is different than your pocket computer.
Yeah, it's a computer to just distract you while you drive.
There were some jokes about vibing in the car, and it brought up conversations like 2 years ago about essentially a shit post I made talking about how someday we would have Nostr notes on our smart refrigerators, and our smart refrigerators would run Nostr, and it was just a shit post. And I was taking pictures of I was handwriting notes on little scraps of paper and then taping them to my refrigerator and then taking pictures of them and sharing them. And Fiat Jeff was all for it. He liked it and he was sharing too. And Dad was in on the dad joke. It was a good time. I did this weird thing all day.
So you don't actually have a smart fridge? A fridge with a screen?
No, I don't.
Okay, because I thought you did.
Apparently breaking news,
Mm-hmm.
if I did have a smart refrigerator, apparently you can vibe code on it, and then you can run the vibe coded apps.
The fridge has the internet. I did not know this. That's amazing. A nice big screen, too. It's probably bigger than my laptop screen.
Alex and Chad from the Soapbox team, they took the shit posting to heart, and they took it upon themselves to see if you could actually do this. They went to, I don't know, a Best Buy, a Lowe's, some type of store with refrigerators. It was a Best Buy? Okay.
It was a Best Buy. Shout out to Best Buy if you want to sponsor.
Yeah. They went to the smart refrigerator section and opened up the web browser on the smart fridge, because your smart fridge needs a web browser. And they went to Shakespeare.diy.
I was doing food. food. Yeah. I don't know.
They signed in, they scanned the QR code to pay for Shakespeare credits with Lightning, and then they typed a prompt, like build me a Shakespeare dashboard, or I'm sorry, a refrigerator dashboard.
A refrigerator
something like
dashboard.
that.
They started building.
Yeah, whatever that
on the
means.
fridge.
Like it was just a 3 or 4 word prompt. They hit go, and a few minutes later, they vibe coded a refrigerator dashboard on a refrigerator, and then they deployed it, and then they opened it up. And then
You know what?
And then you can add food that you want to buy. We're low on broccoli, or we're low on milk, or we're low on steak.
Tell you what, talk about building in public. They were building in public.
Building in
Dad
public,
jokes.
literally. They commandeered a retail outlet piece of IoT and built on it. That's amazing.
Yeah, so you just go, if you don't have internet, go use the internet on the smart fridge at the best.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you need internet, you can go to Best Buy and vibe code you a communication app and then just start using it, I guess.
Yeah. So
I want to know if any of the employees there were like, what are these guys doing?
What are these two nerds doing?
What are those nerds over there doing with that refrigerator? Like,
there was some other thing they did at like a Samsung kiosk or store. I don't know because I'm not a Samsung person. They were on the loose today. They were running around town and just building things on other people's machines.
Building in public.
Building in public. That's the name of the podcast this week. Building in public.
Building in public. Literally.
Yeah, build anything and do it in public.
Smart refrigerators. When I've made this joke on the show before about my smart, I don't have one, but someday if I have a smart washing machine or smart dryer, I want it to post on Noster and say my laundry's ready. Like, can I vibe code on my clothes machines? Like,
I think that day is just about here. I had a laundry machine that had an electronic app. I didn't have the app for it. I mean, just like I was in a tiny apartment. I don't need an app to run my machine, but I had one of those. It came close. It didn't have a screen. You couldn't vibe code like you could on the big fancy. I think it was a Samsung refrigerator, whatever brand that. I have to watch the video again that Alex posted. But whatever the smart fridge brand was, maybe the laundry machine of the same brand might have it. But the screens are tiny, though. That's the thing. It's
we're gonna do
credit
it.
Card
I think there's a long-standing nerd joke about getting Doom to run on devices that were never meant to run Doom. Doom is a PC game from the mid '90s or maybe even early '90s, and over the years, people have ran it on things that it should not run on, like smartwatches, Game Boys, various IoT devices.
When I can vibe code on my Apple Watch, like when will that day come?
So this year we're gonna see what we can vibe apps from. I think that
By the way,
has already started.
You did write the blog post about vibe coding on your mobile device, like your phone. I mean.
Yeah, that's a start, right?
That is there at Soapbox Pub, soapbox.pub.
That I actually did that a couple of nights ago. I was having a little bit of a bout of insomnia, and it was 3 a.m., and I picked up my phone, and I start phoning, and I decided to open up Shakespeare and vibe code an app with Shakespeare from my bed at 3 a.m. on my phone. Yeah, I was vibing in bed. Usually that's something different. But I was vibing. I was vibing a different way. Than I'm used to.
It's a family show, my friend.
It's a family show.
This is so shocking. We lost my fake background.
No, I ended up building a new website for Amethyst because Veter, friend of the show, friend of Derek, he's in the FOD. Love Veter to death, use his app more than anything, and his website was really bad. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, Veter, it was bad.
Damn,
so
Veter.
We needed to have Veter have a pretty website, and I did. I told Shakespeare to make this website beautiful. I downloaded some of the screenshots, images that
was
he
the
had.
word.
And
you used the word beautiful, though, because that's a good prompting word. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. Well, what I actually said for the prompt, paraphrasing a little bit here, but I said, Amethyst needs a beautiful marketing website that is informative and entices users, talking about all of the various features and why they should use and install this app. The call to action needs to be to install, download Amethyst, something along those lines.
Nice.
And I said I want there to be a updates section. In the update section needs to be notes from Noster from the Amethyst NPub, and then I gave it the Amethyst NPub. And then I said there needs to be a download section talking about the various ways to download. And then I pasted in the GitHub repository link, and I said, read the GitHub repository to learn all about the app and all of the app's features.
Oh,
and
that's
it did.
awesome.
So it read the repo, it read the code, read all the nips, read the README, figured out what all it supports, and then it turned all those into informative blocks of content for the app. And
how you do it, kids.
Yeah, Vitor used it. The next day I told him, showed him, and he said, this is great. I gave him access to it, and he used it. It's now live at amethyst.social.
So you handed it off. That's awesome. That's how we roll. That is a very solid use case to make a marketing website and then, hand it off to the person who owns that website. Or we do it at Soapbox
because that
too.
was a success. I ended up doing that for Citrine and Amber, which are two Android apps that go hand in hand by the same developer. So I made a very similar website for that. Then the iOS app Nostur by Fabian, I made a very similar website for that. He had a lot of screenshots and GIFs and content already on his website, but it was really ugly. And I essentially said the same thing. I said, following the theme of these other apps that I made, use those as a template guide. Here's the updated NPub. Here's the updated, GitHub links and pictures and so forth, and build. And it did. And then
did he use it?
I made one for Dad. No, Fabian isn't using it yet. He isn't.
Oh.
Fabian isn't using it yet. Then I made one for Dad. Fiat Jeff. I made one. This was kind of a joke. Like, I didn't know what he would really say, but I wanted to do it anyways. So I made it one for Knack. Knack is a command line tool, but it's probably one of the most versatile Noster tools out there.
Knack
like, you
stands
can publish
for
messages.
Noster Army Knife. So it's a tool.
You can download content. You can publish content. You can run a bunker. You can run an MCP server for AI. You can do like all sorts of stuff. Like, it's really crazy. It's very versatile. Hence the Army Knife. Heather, do you think Dad liked it?
Of course. I think you're Dad's favorite. I think if Dad has
Dad's
favorites,
favorite child.
I made
Dad
him a free
actually
website,
told me he liked it. He did.
He hasn't.
He said he liked it, but then something along the lines of, and then I realized it was AI, and then he said something like,
he doesn't like the AI.
Developers like me would think it's a scam if the website looked this good.
Wow. So that's a compliment. That's kind of
high praise, right? Like, the website looks so good that there's no way a hacker would make this. Like,
you did do it in like a Matrix hacker style theme, that's good.
I wanted it to be funny and and good. And it was, I mean,
so is Dad going to use it?
I don't know. I'm going to have to bully him a little bit and talk to him about it.
Took the compliment, and he said something nice
he liked
to you.
He liked it. But but Dad has to have this, like, I don't know. He doesn't want to let his guard down and let AI win, right? Like, he wants to stay angry at AI. He's not really angry, but out of principle he is.
Dad is very particular about how things are done and what we do, and we may not make him happy probably most of the time.
No, he's happy. He's happy. He just likes to pretend that he's grouchy. I don't think he actually is grouchy.
He likes to pretend that he's grouchy?
Yeah, I think so. Like, he's going to listen to this episode, and and he's going to be laughing the whole time. And then he's going to send me a message. And he's
Dad
like,
ain't
you know what?
listening
You
to the
made me
episode."
laugh. And then I realized, I shouldn't be happy. And now I'm mad again. Like,
It's the Noster way. We're
I'm
working
just,
hard. No time for
Fiat
laughter.
Jeff, I love you. Thank you for all you do. I'm just having fun, brother. And I'll talk to you soon. And use the Knack website.
He should be more stern with you. I think you've really gotten, you've wormed your way onto his good
he
side.
He tells me no. He does.
He tells everybody
He tells me no. He does.
We love you, Dad. We love you, Fiat Jeff.
Yeah,
we really do.
But I'm on Dad's good side, I think, and I know how to talk to
there.
Dad. So
you better stop, tickling the ivories of AI. Okay, you don't want to get on his back.
Yeah. Fiat Jeff's a good guy. I hope to meet him someday. He's a great guy.
You've never met him in person?
He can't join the FOD until we meet. He's not in the FOD.
You
we've
have
never
standards too. You're particular too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the FOD used to be called the Derek Beer Index. Like once we shared a beer, you were brought into the FOD.
We've never shared a beer because I don't drink. We've shared.
Yeah, that's why you're not in the FOD, Heather.
I've sat next to you and had a meal.
I know. Well, I know that's because you don't drink anymore. So that excludes. You know what? That excludes a lot of people from the FOD. I guess
there's a lot of sober Bitcoin.
Because Open
I've
Mike,
seen you tipsy. That should
Open
count.
Mike has drank non-alcoholic beer with me.
That's right. I don't even do that. But yeah, he loves his fake beer.
He does. All right. Anyways, so a lot of vibe coding this past week. But
Derek's been doing it in bed, and the rest of the team's doing it in bed.
I was doing it in bed. See, that should be the that. You know what?
Doing it in bed.
I'm gonna veto whatever you said earlier. We're gonna do doing it in bed.
Yeah, doing it in bed is gonna be the episode title. Doing it in bed.
Doing it in bed.
Soapbox Shakespeare. You could do it in bed. There we go. That's our new marketing campaign, Derek.
Shakespeare. Do it in bed.
Shakespeare in
bed.
Do
it in bed with Shakespeare.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
If I've coded in bed, there's probably some nerds out there who've done it. I'm not putting it past some of you.
Usually, Heather, whenever we're talking about vibe coding, AI first, we think about programming, right? Software engineering, building applications. I actually did something.
I don't.
I'd actually did something different this past week. I've been using AI as a administrative assistant.
You built some cool stuff
for helping me complete tasks, helping me get organized, helping me
what you made.
Do my job. So I'm out of the fiat mines officially in 2 more days. The fiat mines are closing.
Ooh, awesome.
Me. So this week I've been spending a lot of time kind of getting ready, we'll say, for what I'm going to be preparing for a larger workload. And I kind of decided that over the past 6 months as I was part-time at Soapbox, that I was very scatterbrained. Since I only had a few hours a day, a few hours a week, kind of scatterbrained on what I was doing, which was okay. But now that I'm going to have more time, I can't be as scatterbrained. So I want to be organized.
It becomes easier, I think, when you, compartmentalize your days well, or, I think when you're working multiple projects or multiple jobs, like you're never quite 100% in one, you gotta, unless you find a way to balance it properly, you just gotta find the thing that works for you. The thing that works for Derek may not work for me, or vice versa. But Derek's getting a handle on how to. I think you made a second brain, but you did it with AI, and you kind of
yeah. Like I'm going to refine this over the next week or so, and then use it all next week. And then after I have like a solid week and a half or whatever under my belt,
I will ask how you did it.
Write a blog post about it and give some examples of how to use AI differently, than we're using it generally. Like we use it, like I said, to build apps, but you can use it for so much more, such as an administrative assistance.
You know what's great about this idea is that you used a tool that I already use, and I don't know, I don't think it cost you anything. So I mean, people
No,
who want to use some freeware, some fast action here to really get this done, because you used Obsidian, which I use, but I don't think I use it effectively. And I've been looking at a different tool to solve my problems, but I think maybe your tool is going to solve my
yeah,
problems
yeah. So
better.
I used Obsidian. I've never used it before, but I
Hmm.
installed it like a year ago, created one note, and was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I went back to using other apps and stuff. But part of the reason I wanted to use this is because for the past decade, I've been using at work, I've been using Microsoft OneNote for all of my notes.
Mm,
And that's just because I was kind of forced into using Microsoft products. I literally hate
Teams and all that.
Microsoft Teams.
Yeah,
Ugh.
everybody hates
But
Teams.
but
I
but
didn't like
I
it.
but I was using Microsoft OneNote for all of my work related notes and tracking and everything,
Well, you
and
can't
it
do
worked
that
out really
anymore.
well. So I wanted to I wanted to find something else to use that was kind of similar, and I think Obsidian is so much better, a lot more powerful
It's
because it's
very
open
cool.
source and there's
Yeah.
all sorts of community plugins and so forth. So, long story short, I plugged it into Claude, and since Claude allows you to customize it with various skills, I wrote skills for my job, basically description, what I want to do, and then I had some generic ones for like administrative assistant and creating content, things like that.
Mhm.
And just throw data at it. Literally, like if I have a meeting, I take notes, throw data at it. And if I work on a project, throw data at it. GitHub issues, merge requests, comments, all the projects that we're working on, in GitLab, whatever, everything. Just throw data at it and tell Claude to unfuck my day essentially.
So does
And
Obsidian just plug into Claude, like it has a Claude integration, or does it integrate with all the other aforementioned things? Which way does it
so
go?
AI loves markdown files because you can organize them and emphasize them and,
Yeah.
and so forth. That's like what it likes. So Obsidian does markdown files. So the two of them are already married together. Uh, and yeah, you don't have to use the Claude plugin for Obsidian if you don't want to. I That's what I'm doing just to play around with it. But you could
Yeah.
essentially use 2 different apps if you wanted, but I'm doing it, like, all one app altogether.
I've
But,
never even thought of the plugins for Obsidian. Like I've never even thought
yeah,
about it.
well, I'll show you and I'll talk about it on the blog post, and I'll do
Yeah,
a
this is
video
cool.
tutorial here. It'll be fun, but I only used it, like, real world scenario so far just one day. I spent the
Mhm.
past, like, 3 days building it, and
Cool.
I think it's really cool.
Does
I'm gonna
it plug
feed all the
in
information into it, and then every day it's going to tell me what I need to work on.
does it plug in DeepSeek or just Claude?
Um,
Cuz DeepSeek's
so
open.
in theory, if you wanted to use DeepSeek with like stacks, you could, I guess.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, you
I've
could
been
use
using
any AI
DeepSeek
agent.
lately.
You don't have to use
Yeah.
Claude. I'm just using Claude because I'm a Claude user. You
You're a
could use
Claude
any
kind of guy.
AI.
I think most
Yeah,
people are. Well,
yeah.
DeepSeek's, it's free to use right now, so I think a lot of people are using it.
Sure. So what you could use it with Olama. The main thing is I'm using Claude skills to
Ah, cool.
essentially tell Claude how I want my schedule to look like as a template file, essentially prioritizing things, talking about the different apps that I use. So I put all of this into a predefined file. So maybe I should back up a little bit here. So we've all heard of agents, and maybe some of us have heard of MCP servers, and some of us have heard of, skills and kind of what the difference is between these. Well, agents are the pieces of software that orchestrate something for you to talk to AI. It's kind of like the middleman. You are coming up with the prompts. The agent is doing all of the tasks for you and
And thank
communicating with
God.
the AI and feeding all the data to the LLM and figuring out what to do. So a skill is a set of instructions that kind of you want the AI to always remember. So, you know how when you're working with building something and eventually it starts kind of like remembering how you want things to work and how you want things to do function and build and look. Well, you had to do several prompts to get there. So think of a skill is saying, I always want ABC to function this way. I always want XYZ to function this way. So you don't have to go through that prompt every single time of kind
Like,
of like
always
learning
build my
and
app
teaching.
in dark mode. Like, always know that that's my
Exactly.
preference. Yeah.
100%. Like if you always want dark mode, then that's like a skill. It's when I build an app, it should always have dark mode, and that's the only mode that I want. Like, it's a way to remember things. So I and it's a hierarchy too, because you can, I mean, it's think of it as like a very customized system prompt. Like you have the system prompt, and then you have like a subsystem prompt of user preferences and user choices, and that's what a skill kind of is. So you can make skills for anything, and so I made a DevRel skill that is kind of like really personalized to me in my job functions, and then I have an executive assistant which does like task management and scheduling and prioritizing things. And yeah, like it could do more too if you wanted to. Like you can customize it, but I think it's a good baseline. And I have a few others that I made. I think I made like 6 of them altogether, but
Cool.
really I'm only using 2 of them so far. Anyways, it's really cool. I'm excited to use it more, over the next week and a half, and then to do some demos and blog posts about it, and hopefully help some others out.
Yeah, I like that. You helped me out. I've been looking at a tool. It's an Apple tool, and it's called Craft, and it's really awesome. But
Okay.
it's a lot like Notion, and I was about to pay for it, and it's like, I don't know. I got a deal on it. Like, it's probably $90 a year, but I was gonna get it for, like, half that, and then, I realized as I've been using it, it does this block thing like Notion does where you can move the blocks around, and I'm like, "Oh,"
Okay.
like, I make the idea of the app is that it makes documents and you move the blocks around, but then once you've got the document made and maybe then I wanna, like, copy and paste the whole thing, I can't because the cursor doesn't lift everything from the blocks, so it doesn't. It just ended up not functional for me. So, like, and I'm like, okay, well, I can go back to Obsidian, and then see how Derek did that thing because you showed me a screenshot. But I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this probably will work just the same or better for me. And then, like, if I can plug in
So
things that I use, why not?
so there's a couple nerdy things that I'm doing to make it work for me that it may not work for everybody. Like I kind of live in the command line like half of my day, so I I'm doing some command line stuff. Like I have some apps that sync contacts and sync calendar and um other things.
Mm-hmm.
You That stuff I'll say is medium hard, medium easy to set up. It's not that bad, but it does require
Is it Heather
some work.
proof? As we all,
Um, hmm, I'm
you
gonna
know,
say,
how much does Heather use a terminal in daily life? There'd be a big
well,
goose
see
egg there. Like,
that's the
I have
problem
one.
is that Claude likes text data, right? And
Mhm.
ultimately, you want that text data, and to automate it, the command line is is the best way for that. So
Mm.
for you to get your calendar stuff in there, you'll have to do some command line stuff. For you to get, your tasks in there, you'll have to do some command line stuff.
You're gonna have
To
to
get
babysit
email in
me.
there, some command line stuff. But once it's
He's like,
set up, it's
"Damn
gonna
it."
work forever. It's gonna work
Well, that's
forever.
cool.
So
Yeah.
so my point is that paid solution that you're talking about, Craft, that does similar stuff, it has
Yeah.
that pretty UI probably, and you
It's
probably
Apple
click an OAuth
design,
button
yeah.
saying, hey, connect your Apple Calendar, click here, and then you do it. That's gonna be infinitely easier than what I built, but mine is free, and
Yeah, I like
you're gonna
free.
pay for that convenience, though.
Yeah,
So
paying for
yeah.
convenience is kind of like I'm not sold on the blocks thing though. That's where it got me today because
But
I
Obsidian is
spent
free though. Like you don't have to pay anything for Obsidian, and I
exactly.
really
I
like
have a
that.
ton in Obsidian. I have like every yoga certification I'm working on has a folder in Obsidian, and as we know, I'm a nerd and I like learning. So there's my Obsidian's a mess. I'll clean it up before you
You know
get this
what,
whole thing
Heather?
ready. I got to clean it up. What?
I'm gonna admit something. The iOS version of Obsidian is superior to what's available for Android in some regard.
You
So
said something nice about Apple?
yeah,
Mark this day
because
on the
I
calendar.
learned that Obsidian has a sync. They have their own sync where you pay like $4 a month for, or you can use the built-in iCloud data sync for free.
So I've got one up
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah. Now I'm doing the free sync too on Android, but Android doesn't like require you to sync data. So it's up to the developer. So the
iCloud is
developer
pretty good.
so the developer's not syncing Android data because you don't have to. And that means you need to find creative ways to sync, but they give you a million options. So
Mhm.
I'm syncing to Google Drive, kind of like iCloud, syncing to Google Drive, and then I'm syncing Google Drive to my laptop.
Wait, but I can do both then because I use Google
Yes,
Drive for
and you don't have to use any
Soapbox.
hacks. Like it just works. Apple just works. That's what I'm saying. I
What?
have to
He
use
admits
hacks
it.
to get it to work.
January
But
7th, 2026. He has said it. It is an historic day on Soapbox Sessions when Derek, the Android guy, he literally was the Android guy, by the way, though. It's like actually in his past. You can look at his resume, his LinkedIn that doesn't exist because he's not on LinkedIn, but he is an Android guy. He has now said something positive. He hasn't taken the piss from me about having Apple everything as I have had for the last 21 years.
so, all right. So it's superior for ease of use, or you could say
The
Android's
addendum.
superior, but because it allows you to have more options. But the funny thing is you can have all those options on iOS too. So
I told my
iOS
cousin
is superior for this app, only
there
for
you go.
this app.
I told my
That's the
cousin has an
caveat
Android.
for this app.
For this app, my cousin's an Android. The rest of us in the family are not. And so like the other day, I was like, Derek built a thing where I can make an Android app now, and she was like, cool, because my
Oh,
family
yeah, we can talk
doesn't.
about that.
Yeah, my family doesn't know what I do, so they're just like, okay, good for you. And so she was like, yay, go you. So yeah, so now I'm gonna make her an Android app. I gotta do what you did for Dad and Vitor, and I gotta make an Android app with your new tool, and then send it to her and be like, here, you can use this. Okay, so talk about your tool.
All right, more Derek building. It's been a while since we've had.
I know I haven't tested the
episode.
tool yet, so I gotta test the tool still. I gotta bug find.
Because the year of the builder is happening here in 2026, we're starting off with a bang and trying to enable more building more than just websites with Shakespeare. So I'm working on a way to build Android apps, APKs, apps
People have been
that run
asking for native
natively
apps. They've
on
been
your
asking.
phone. A lot of people want the native app, even though we have PWA support, and Alex loves the PWA. But we know that people want native apps because
it's very open.
I would say people want native apps because native apps are better at some things, but also people want them because we've kind of had it drilled into our head over the past, nearly 20 years that you got to have an app. You got to have an app store.
There's an app for that.
There's an app for that.
Well, and the App Store, meaning the Apple App Store, is kind of a pain in the ass to get your apps approved. So there's a whole backstory here, but that's why we're starting with an Android app. We can tell that story on like a whole other episode.
Yeah, like the Google Play Store is very hard to get into as well, but not as hard as Apple.
Not as
bad. But they scrutinize as well. But the nice thing about Android, since it's open, you don't need to use Google Play. Anybody can build an app and install it on any phone. People call that side loading, but you can just install it. You don't need to do anything special. So I want it to be, roll your face across the keyboard easy. So I want you to be able to go to Shakespeare, you build your app, and then you say, okay, I like having a website. This proof of concept is cool, but I want a native app experience on my phone. It needs to have an app. And I struggled a while to figure out how to do this, but I figured out the easiest way because, you know, should you say, hey, build this into an Android app, turn this into an Android app. I want to build it, and that's going to give people a lot of freedom with their prompt. But at the end of the day, I think if I can take away a lot of the different headaches and make it kind of, quote unquote, just work, I think that's the best outcome. So
Because
it's
it'll be
now
so
so easy.
I can do
Yes.
it.
It's going to be so easy that Heather can do it. You
I
just
can
click a
click a
button.
button. Click
Well,
a
it's going
button.
to
That's
require
all I
like
need.
a couple button clicks, but
A couple
you
button
click a
clicks.
button
And I'm in business.
to add a new deploy target, a place to
Ooh,
deploy. So that's not too
I
bad.
like
You
it.
go in, you say deploy, you add a new deploy target, and you say you want to add the Android APK target. And that's really it. Once you add it, you click deploy for Android. You just have to pick a name. It's automatically populated, but you can customize that. And then you can build by two different options. You have the debug key build, which debugging is good for testing because you should always test your app to make sure it works. And then once you know that it works, you'll click release and it'll build the release key for you. So I'm going to have a full tutorial once it's all done. I'll have a blog post, video, but it should just be a couple clicks and you should be able to turn relatively any website that you built with Shakespeare into a native Android app. And I've tested this so far with 4 different apps that I've built, 4 different use cases. I want to test it with varying other ones so I can have different use cases tested out and working. And once I have this in a good state, it's really complicated. Like it's much more complicated than I thought. It took me a week to get it to where it's at now, but I'm getting close. So hopefully in another week or 2, we'll be able to launch this.
I'm going to build my cousin an app, and then I'm going to test the deploy feature and be like, I made you an app, which is like the new way to tell someone you love them in 2026 is to build them an app.
I love Veter. I love Green Art. I love Fabian, and I love Dad. Like
you do.
I'm building the maps.
We're making things for the people we love and ourselves. We are. I think sometimes you start by building the thing that you want to see in the world, which is exactly how, Alex started Shakespeare. And now all of us can build the thing that we want to see in the world because he did that. And now we have this amazing tool that we just keep going, oh, well, can it do this? Okay, let's build that in. So DevRel Derek, putting the dev in DevRel.
We be building.
We be building all kinds of things.
Do you remember when we built Podster? 20 weeks ago? 20 weeks ago?
God. You counted the weeks. Actually, technically you built Podster and I tried.
Yeah. Remember when I built Podster? Yeah, I built Podster in like July of 2025.
Yeah.
Well, a new podcast that launched 2 weeks ago, perhaps. We mentioned it on the show, Noster Compass. Yeah. They will be migrating to Podster.
Awesome.
They'll be migrating to the Podster platform so they can be sovereign over their podcasts.
This is really cool. And it's just something that you built. And, Derek built it in the very developer kind of way. And then I tried to do it and I couldn't do it. With the command line interface and everything. I'm not that person, but I tried. I tried to follow your directions. I didn't have enough skill to do it. But then Derek made sure that it's in our showcase, our Shakespeare showcase. So anybody can just remix the thing. And of course, I'm sure people could rip the code from GitHub too, but that's on podster.org, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, what's interesting about that, Heather, is that whenever I made Podster, that was before Act 2 launched. So you couldn't clone and import. So that's why I did it how you did it, or how I did it, because you couldn't import and clone and customize.
Man.
So I think I need to have Podster 2.0 come out where you don't have to do all of these things. It'll just be a prompt with go in and change this, so you can customize it with a prompt instead of the more technical deployment, because that's how we had it at the time. You had to do the technical.
Can you have Claude add that to your to-do list?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do, because right now you're right that that the very technical version, it's hard, and you couldn't figure it out. So you clicked edit in Shakespeare and you customized it for your podcast. So you're using Podster, but you didn't do it through the technical deployment, and that's great because
that's what
we
made
can now
Shakespeare
do this
for.
with Act 2. Yeah,
and it saves you
why
time
we
and
have
money.
Shakespeare.
Derek already did all the building and paid the money.
So I need to do that. I need to update on podster.org, update the instructions saying, if you're really technical, you can do this. However, click edit with Shakespeare and just go build it right there.
That's going on my
even funnier
long
now.
project list.
Now that we have Act 2 deployment, you can go and redeploy every time you publish a new episode, and it would rebuild your RSS file. So you don't need to Shakespeare.wtf or Vercel would host, or Netlify, wherever you're hosting it, would host your RSS file for you.
I want that by February 1st.
Why are you nerd sniping me during the middle of an episode, Heather?
Oh my God, we're like,
the wheels are turning.
Like, let me go get my
are we done yet? I have work to do. Like,
the podcast must end now because we've been nerd sniped. We got to go vibe code.
Yeah, this didn't even dawn on me. I was talking to Max Hillebrand from
Thank you, Max.
Noster Compass yesterday for an hour, and explaining to him because he's a technical guy. So I was explaining to him the very technical way to deploy all of this. But no, I should have just said, no, just edit it in Shakespeare. We have that capability now.
See, that's because you're too fucking
Heather.
Smart. You're too smart.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome. This is why we keep me around at Soapbox, because I'm the dumbest person who works at Soapbox. Because I can't do shit in a terminal, and so I find ways to do things because I'm a normie. They call me the normie on staff. No, seriously,
it's just because we didn't have that capability when I launched Podster. Now we do.
Smart people things that are hard, and I do dumb people things that are quick and easy. I'm all about the quick and easy.
It's just because Shakespeare got better. Cool. Very cool.
Shakespeare, just all of it's getting better. Like, if you're not getting into this stuff,
literally during the show, it's getting better. Alex is updating it right now. He's adding better Git support.
I keep seeing alerts come across my phone. He's a late night guy. He's our BDFL, and he is up all night long, every night. Don't call Gleason.
He's doing it in bed.
Well,
actually, no. He's probably not in bed doing this.
No, he's up. He's working. But he could be dressed as Shakespeare. Okay, shout out to our boss. We're calling him the BDFL, the benevolent dictator for life, not CEO anymore. The BDFL. Shout out to Alex, who will do method coding. He will dress up as Shakespeare to code Shakespeare. It is an experience, and he shares it with us. Pictures.
I love it when he does that. I love it.
I know he does method coding. He gets into it. Like he's like the Leonardo DiCaprio of coders, man. He's the BDFL of method coding.
So you remember BitChat? Not what I like to do at you, Heather.
I know, we bitch at each other. Rather, we invented BitChat, didn't we? No, that was Jack.
We do another kind of bitch-chatting.
We do.
Well, it's in the news. It's in the news again.
It's bigly in the news. There's unrest around the world, and that's where BitChat seems to come in. And at the moment, it seems to be pretty hot in Uganda. I can't say you and I are hot in Uganda.
There's the opposition there is telling
my goodness
their supporters to download BitChat so they can organize and communicate, because it's a freedom tool, and
it's amazing because you can't shut it down.
They had 1.6 million people downloaded over the course of like a week or something, like some crazy thing.
Worldwide,
BitChat is blowing up there. It said BitChat will always be available any place in the world where you need freedom technology, where there is civil unrest, where there's political unrest, BitChat will be there for you. And it found a home
Awesome.
in Uganda for, 1.6 million people, or probably more than that by now. But the most interesting thing about this is their head executive director of their UCC, basically like their FCC.
Their telecommunications head.
Yeah.
The honcho
Yeah.
for the entire country.
He
claims.
He
Anyway,
said that they have a lot of very smart, skilled software engineers and developers in the government and regulatory space over there. So they're going to look into figuring out how to ban or block BitChat. Like,
good luck with that.
So
I would hate to be one of those guys. That's a tough role to be in right now.
Well,
and
so let's
play
play this out here. So
Yeah.
could they ban BitChat? Absolutely. Governments can ban software. They could tell
verbalize.
Google.
They can
They could tell Google, and they could tell Apple to not allow, to block this app from being installed in their country. So we know countries do that. That happens with apps from time to time. So Apple would not be able to continue to download. There'd be no more Apple downloads. But Android is open. This is where Android is superior. And anybody could download and install the application without a store. You can go and download it directly from GitHub. You could get it from zapstore.dev. Anywhere, any third-party website that wants to host the APK, you can get it. Yeah. So now you're thinking, well, so now we have anybody can install the app on Android, at least, if it's blocked. But could they ban and could they stop it from actually working? Well, BitChat uses Bluetooth mesh networks.
Yeah.
So for people that are, congregating out in meet space and, out in public, it'll allow them to communicate and hop over longer distances.
I mean, what a time to be alive, right? To have this technology.
But here's the thing, like, let's say that if they really wanted to, if a government, if Uganda, any government really wanted to block it, they couldn't block it around the whole country, but they could absolutely block it.
They could try
at events. Like, let's say there was a large
they could do one of those jamming things.
Protest or a large event. There's 100,000 people on the streets. All they would need to do is deploy signal jammers that block 2.4 gigahertz Bluetooth. So they could actually block Bluetooth, but they can only do it in pockets. You can't block it all. No.
Yeah,
but if they wanted to, they could. It's just a radio frequency. It's a signal jammer, and we know that this technology exists. I don't know if Uganda has the capability of deploying mass signal jammers, but
I'm sure they can try.
But they could try. But they can't. But the cool thing is they can't stop it all. They would deploy at that protest, but 2 blocks away, there's 100 people there, 1,000 people there. They'd have to drive trucks around constantly, like jamming.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stop it all. They can make it harder, but I think BitChat's going to be fine. I think they'll be okay.
The spirit of a people that want to be free might be stronger than signal jammers. I would hope so anyway, because that's why we build freedom.
I'm not saying what you do if you see a signal jammer, but there are things you could probably do to them to make them stop doing their thing.
Well, yeah, we're not going to advocate for anything, like certainly not taking a side one way or the other. It's just the technology exists, and that's that didn't exist.
Once it's out of the box, you can't really put it back in.
Yeah, it's and again, it's all open source, so go use it, fork it, make it your own.
Yeah, that's the neat thing, is that what could happen if Apple bans BitChat? I could deploy an app called Derek Talk and put it out in test flight, and I could have 10,000 people go and install it, and all it is a clone of BitChat. Then
and then it could be a PWA.
you could install Heather Talk, and then there's another 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And then, you just need people to do that. So you just flood Apple. And I mean, maybe Apple wouldn't approve them all, but yeah, there's ways around this. It's all open
Yeah, there's
source, like you
tricks.
said. It's using protocols to communicate.
Well, if everybody makes one, then it becomes
they'll be
whack-a-mole, and
fine.
they can, things will get
Yep,
through
you
if
can't
more
stop
people
it.
are building. Yeah, it's the people are free, the tech is free, and this is stuff that can change the world. So this was really cool. It's good to see.
There's a new Noster app that you found called Zap-Work. It's a
Zap-work.com. Yeah, they zapped me.
freelancer.
They Zapvertised me. That's how
They
I
did
found
some
them.
Zapvertising.
We did some Zapvertising today, and so I saw, well, what is this? Because these platforms, a couple have come and gone. I think a lot of people using bitcoinerjobs.com. There was something that I liked for a while there that was called pleb work, and you could get paid with Lightning. And now this is Nostr, though. It's got a Nostr login. And then you knew about one that I didn't know about. So I was checking out zap-work.com today, and because they need some jobs. They need people to post up some jobs there so that people can apply for jobs and get that ecosystem going.
Zap-Work is for freelancers posting that they have a skill set, and then hiring managers can go in there and post jobs. But the posting of jobs is basically like, classified ads. And we've had classified ads for 2+ years, over 2 years.
Okay.
And it's NIP99. Like if you go to ostrich.work, that is the first Nostr job board posting jobs, NIP99 classified ads. So Zap-Work didn't use the existing NIP for this. And I'm really curious why they would fragment it or why they couldn't use it. That's interesting.
Maybe doing their own thing or just staying in a silo.
And that's okay, but I'm a stickler for things like this, and I'm not overly a fan until I know why they did it this way. If they did it this way because they didn't know, that's one thing. If they did it this way because it was a specific design choice, I want to know why. Why didn't they
see this more
why don't they want to be interoperable? The strong point of Nostr is being interoperable. So
I think sometimes people
maybe
don't
they
know.
couldn't be. Maybe they couldn't be because of something specific reason, right? Like maybe the NIP didn't entirely work for them. They tried to get it to work, and then they decided it didn't work for them, so they went a custom route. And that's fine. I just need to know. I like to be in the know.
I know we're nosy
people.
A theory? I think sometimes, my theory is the silo theory. I think a lot of people work in silos. We had a friend this morning that was like, asking about somebody's app, and I said, well, you got to ask the developer. They're like, who is it? And I'm like, oh, hang on, let me think for a second, try to remember who it is, and then I did, and I found their club and said, yeah, like go find this guy, and so sometimes I think communication can be better. Somebody needs to vibe code an app to get the devs all working. Being aware at least of like, I don't know, Derek, can you connect everybody's GitHubs and GitLabs and NGets? Can you connect all the Gits so we can see what everybody's working on? And then if you're building a thing and you're a NIP99 guy who's trying to build a job site, do you go, log it? All right, who else is building NIP99 job websites and like hook me up with it? You need a matchmaking site for devs who are working on the same NIPs, Derek. That's what you got to build.
Well, they might have looked at NIP99 and said, okay, this NIP doesn't work for us. We need to do something different. I don't know why, because it's essentially a classified ad. So
maybe they weren't around.
I'm going to bet they didn't know. I'm going to bet
they weren't around. Maybe they didn't know. I mean, they're new.
Ostrich.work does still get some activity. It's not super popular, but maybe I'll reach out to them, because that's kind of like my DevRel role here across the Nostr is to make sure developers can work together if they want to. So
now you just have to clone yourself.
maybe I will reach out and just say, hey, man, did you know about this nip? Why didn't you use the nip? And
he's going to talk about nips all day.
Or she says. I don't know who the developer is.
I mean, and I don't know who developed it either.
But
sometimes
I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to slide into those DMs because I like interoperability. And if there's a chance for it, like, then let's do it. And if it's just not going to work, then that's fine too. That's fine too.
Yeah. You can always change your nips in Nostr.
You can.
Just in Nostr.
You can edit nips. You can expand the nips.
Yeah.
You can
talk about nips all day.
The nips.
Yeah.
You can.
Sometimes you get tired of certain nips.
My
12.
favorite. No, like in Nostriga, Vanessa and I are sitting front row, and Will is talking about building for Nostr on stage, like 10 feet in front of us. And he's like, he's talking in the beginning of his speech, and he's like, yeah, I used to spend all day looking at nips. And immediately Vanessa and I started busting up laughing, and he kind of like side-eyed us for a second. And her and I are like, oh shit, like we're 12. Like we're
12, yeah. We're very mature for our age. We're, Gen Xers.
Never grow up. Never grow up. Well, no, grow up, from time to time, but don't forget your ute either.
Yeah, we're adults like 25% of the day. We bring out the kid in each other though. We fight like siblings. It's great. It's a good time.
I know. I'm gonna smack you. I gave you the smackdown, sent you them wrestling gifts earlier.
That's how we fight. We fight with gifts. So yeah. So okay, this podcast has gone on a while. Do we want to save some for next week, Derek? You were like, you had a week off or something. It just like it's bubbling.
There's a lot to talk about.
I know there is.
But we can save some stuff for next week. We can.
Yeah.
We can come back. We can talk about some other
leftovers.
Apps. There's
important
several
things.
Nostr apps that we need to talk about.
There's so much. There's a lot of change in the community because people are building hard and fast the way we like it. You wanted to call the episode Doing It in Bed, so I'm loading up the double entendres, bro.
Apparently. You're trying to get us flagged on like YouTube for like not safe for work, aren't you?
I'm gonna have to like edit out a lot of this stuff, man.
I think it was good. It was a good episode. It was a good first full episode of 2026, the year of the builder. We're doing it in bed, and we'll be back to tell the tales next week and continue on the discussions about what all of you are building and what we are vibing together as we rebuild the internet. Thank you.